Let's talk about concentration. So many of us think of it as this, innate gift. Either you've got it or you don't. But what if I told you that focus is actually a muscle? Seriously, a mental muscle that you can train, you can strengthen, and you can push to whole new limits. And today, we're going to dive into a technique that's like the ultimate workout for that muscle. Does this sound familiar? You sit down, you're ready to do some real work, but then, ping, a notification. Then a random thought about what's for dinner. Then you remember that email you forgot to send. It feels like you're in a constant tug of war for your own attention. And let's be honest, most of the time you're losing.
But here's the thing, this isn't some personal failing. It's not that you have weak willpower. The ability to concentrate, to really focus deeply, it's a skill. And just like any skill, it has to be trained. If you feel distracted all the time, it just means your concentration muscle is a little out of shape. That's it. It doesn't mean it's not there.
So let's get into the diagnosis here. Why has it become so incredibly hard to just think? Well, the answer really lies in how our modern world has started to rewire our brains. The late Stanford professor Clifford Nass, he put it pretty bluntly after studying people who were constantly multitasking online. He discovered that heavy multitaskers aren't just bad at focusing. They've actually trained their brains to crave irrelevancy. They're always looking for that next new thing to pop up. And what's really wild is that NASA's research showed that even when these multitaskers tried to focus on just one thing, they couldn't do it. Their brains had literally developed these habits of mind that made deep focus feel impossible. It's like that constant attention switching isn't a switch you can just turn off. It becomes your brain's default setting. Okay, but here is the good news. We can fight back. We can retrain our brains. We can absolutely build that mental muscle back up. And we're going to do it with a really specific, targeted exercise designed for exactly that. So what is this technique? It's called productive meditation. And it comes from author Cal Newport. Now, this isn't about emptying your mind. Nope. It's about filling it with one single thing. Think of it like mental resistance training. You pick one problem and you hold your focus on it while your body is just on autopilot. And listen, this isn't some abstract theory. Newport actually developed this exact practice during his own daily commutes. While he was walking or driving or even in the shower, he'd pick one tough academic problem and just refuse to let his mind wander from it. He basically turned all that wasted time into a high-intensity mental gym.
So how do we actually do this? You're probably thinking it sounds complicated, but let's break it down. It's way more straightforward than you might think.
Okay, step one, find an activity where your body is busy but your mind is free. Walking, jogging, washing the dishes, that kind of stuff. Step two, before you start, pick one, just one specific professional problem to chew on. And step three, and this is the most important part, this is everything. Every single time your mind wanders off, you just gently guide it back to the problem. That's it. That's the rep. That's the workout. Now, I gotta warn you, this sounds simple, right? But when you start, you'll find out pretty quick that your mind is gonna deploy a couple of sneaky tactics to try and get out of doing the hard work. So the first enemy is the obvious one, distractions. Your brain will suddenly offer up these incredibly tempting but totally unrelated thoughts. But the second one, it's a bit more subtle. It's called looping. This is when your brain avoids the tough work of making progress by just endlessly going over what you already know about the problem. Just knowing these two exist is half the battle. All right, so you put in the reps, you fight off the distractions, you notice the looping. So what? What's the big payoff? Well, this workout builds two foundational abilities that are frankly critical for just about anything you want to do well. And let's not mince words here. These aren't just tiny little improvements. In today's hyper-distracted world, having these abilities is nothing short of a superpower. First, you're building up your distraction resistance muscles. Every single time you notice your mind has wandered and you pull it back to the problem, think of it like doing a bicep curl for your attention span. And over time, that constant pull of irrelevancy just gets quieter and way easier to ignore. And the second superpower is this. You sharpen your ability to go deep. This practice trains you to move past just scratching the surface of a problem. It helps you push your thinking into more complex, more nuanced territory where you start connecting ideas in new ways. This is where the real breakthroughs happen, and it's a skill that only comes with practice. So, here's the best part. You can start this today, right now. You don't need a yoga mat, you don't need a quiet room. All you need is a little bit of time that would have been wasted anyway. And that's really the beauty of it. This isn't another thing to cram onto your to-do list. It's about transforming that dead time into productive training time. It just slots right into the cracks of your day. Just think about your day for a second. Where are these moments for you? Is it your drive to work, that walk you take to grab a coffee, the time you spend doing chores around the house? Any of those are the perfect opportunity to schedule your first session and start building that focus.
So I'll just leave you with this question. The ability to concentrate is one of the single most valuable skills in our economy, and it's getting rarer by the day. By training the skill, you're not just improving your focus, you're unlocking this powerful engine for insight and creativity. So, what problem will you tackle on your next walk?